All right, we are live. Let me get this tweeted out here so everybody can join in. 1 second. Do 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 do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Do do do. Good. All right. Well, happy Sunday, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend, and we're back at it. So, want to thank everybody also for tuning in tonight on the live stream that we did with Trend Spider. I thought that was a really fun one. They've really come a long way, and it was a great discussion there tonight. So, happy to be back on our own stream here, and tonight we're going to be starting a new series on day trading channel types. So we're actually going to be going a couple different indicators that are available for different types of channels, and they're pretty cool. Some of them we've talked about in the past, of course. Some are going to be new this week, so that'll be fun. And tonight we're going to talk about Bollinger. Can't talk about channels and bands without talking about Bollinger Bands. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and maybe touch on some things that we haven't talked about in the past, and just kind of go over the basics of that one. So good stuff. Before we get started, everything we're going to talk about tonight, as always, is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, well, let's check and see where we left off in the market. Then we'll take a look at the futures, and then we'll get to the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's check out the SPX and see how we have started so far this month of May. If you can believe it, it's already a brand new month. We talked a lot about this in our newsletter this weekend, and did some analysis on all the different time frames as we always do, and it's pretty interesting, right? So again, here we actually have the Bollinger Bands on the monthly chart, so pretty cool stuff. It's pretty stable here on the monthly. You don't get too crazy on it. One of the things that we will talk about, of course, is this compression right here. That compression does lead to expansion on this when it gets really tight like this. Right? Oftentimes we see a nice move up. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But we got to the upper Bollinger Band. We closed above it in April, but we gapped down in the beginning of May. And so now we're seeing a red candle right here so far in the month. So pretty ominous going into this week. As you know, we had an inside week the prior week. And then last week we put in a shooting star candle after a gap fill. So that's a little bit ominous going into this week. You can see the futures are down a little bit here. We'll take a look at those in a little bit. So big upper shadow to contend with going into this first full week of May. But golly, we're looking forward to it. So it's always fun. So we've got that going on. Daily chart, key stuff going on right here. We broke down below the upward trend line. The only issue with this is the volume, right? So that was kind of the main concern about over the weekend. So let's see how it plays out. Right, because the volume at the end of the day, at least towards the end of the day, was less. On the SPY here, it's breaking down pretty heavy, but we came right into these potential support areas. We got the cloud, the 21 EMA, and the 50 EMA right below it. So those were some concerns going into the weekend. Obviously, we got that some follow through from that upper shadow. You can see we're breaking down here as well on the SPX. Let's take a look at the price action on Friday. So price action was pretty good. We chopped around a lot at the open. So pretty cool stuff. We talked about some of the tools that we use. We talked about some of the tools that we use on the live stream tonight. If we go with Trend Spider, but let's just take a look here at the S&P futures, and we'll take a look here and see where we're at now. We're down 33 right now. So 33 points, but that's better than where we were before. Okay, we failed to break down below these inside candles right here. We had one lower shadow. We're starting to work our way back up. We're back over right our 80 MA on the 15. That's kind of a key signal right here. But this was our signal for the breakdown on Friday. Right, we were really choppy at the open on the S&P, and big upper shadows, big lower shadows. That's kind of like one of your clues to stand away, and so you can get some clarity into what's going on. So I know it looks obvious after the fact, because when we're tracking this in the beginning, we're looking at this geometric line right here. Okay, you can see we failed to get a confirmation candle below there. We had this one, we failed to get a confirmation below here. Now we have this one right here, and boom, we got this confirmation candle right here. Good volume breaking through that, and then when we go to back to the SPX, you can see that the type of levels that we provide to our members before each market open, right? And this is what we have, right? So back on May 1st, here you can see exactly what happened. So there, you don't see it here. You don't see the trend line on the ES right here, but we had a beautiful breakdown line here through our key levels, through our 15 orb level, through a couple other levels that we have. Nice shooting star candle that brought us down to the next level, and just continued to test the next levels until we got to our weekly pivot level, and obviously we held that into the end of the day. And as usual, they try to trick everybody out here with a bullish kind of finish, and then they gap it down here at the end of the day. Of course, you never know. We might gap up on Monday. It just depends how these futures behave overnight. So that's definitely one of the things we're going to be looking at. Nice move so far. This is almost a 2B reversal right here, guys. We talked about that last week. This was the same level, so that didn't count. If this candle were green, right? If this candle were green, that would have been a perfect candle, and that would have been the one to go long against. You can see it still worked here anyway over that key level, because that's a good place for anybody who's short trying to break the low of the day, right, to put their stop. And then we clear through there, they retest it, and that's bullish right off of this, because we cleared a bunch of key levels right here, and now we have to see how we hold that throughout the evening. So that should be very interesting too. Let's put some trend lines on this going into tomorrow. We got this guy, right? We got a couple other key levels right here. We got this guy, okay, and we got this guy. These are the ones we got to contend with right here. And so you can see that going in today, we've already broken above that very important breakout area right here. So let's see if we work our way up here. If we can get above that, maybe we'll test this guy, and then who knows, maybe we'll end up green by the morning. So we'll see how it goes going into tomorrow. So good stuff. So this week, again, we're going to be talking about day trading, different channel types, mostly using indicators or channel indicators, studies that show up on our charts. And today, of course, we're going to talk about the famous Bollinger Bands, John Bollinger stuff. We've done a whole series on the Bollinger Bands before, but we're just going to start off with this week, just to kind of show, again, a couple tools that help us with those Bollinger Bands. So let's actually go back to that SPX chart there and just kind of talk about a couple things that were on there. Then we'll take a look at the weekly, because there's some very important tools when you combine them that can really help us out. So that one of the things with the Bollinger Bands, right? So the middle chart right here, the middle band right here is very simply your 20 moving average. Okay, it's your simple moving average by default in Thinkorswim. Some folks use the exponential on the Bollinger Bands. That's okay. John Bollinger in his book even talks about using the 21 moving average. So, but Thinkorswim defaults it at 20, so that's kind of the popular version of it. It's okay, right? You just have to fit it into whatever your trading style is to make sure it makes sense. The exponential is going to be more sensitive to price. But what we get here is a couple interesting things, right? So when the Bollinger Bands get really tight like that, as we know just in general, when charts get tight, we know that compression leads to expansion, but it's particularly on these Bollinger Bands, they do help you give a move. Now the Bollinger Bands are set up off of that 20 moving average to give you a standard deviation move, right? So in this case, we have a +2 and a -2 standard deviation. And so it gives very, very interesting moves when price starts to stretch. Right, and we've talked about this before. So the monthly chart, very bullish here, right? 2017, epic bull market, right? And this is what's called riding the bands, right? So we're riding the bands up right here. It's not necessarily just because you get to the top of the band, it's going to be a short. However, when you close above the Bollinger Band and your RSI really starts to top out, you get overbought on your RSI, good opportunity for a reversal. You see that happen right here too. So that was a nice move right here. Now on the monthly chart we closed above it, but this was a little bit different. We had a shooting star off the upper Bollinger Band, and then we broke that level right here and we pushed below it here. So that was a key breakdown level. You see we even have that breakdown box right here. Key indicator that we may come back and test the mid Bollinger Band, test the 20 moving average on the monthly chart. If we go to the weekly, okay, this is cool too. So let's take a look here. Let's get the Bollinger Bands up on this one. Studies, Bollinger. Okay, so very, very similar, right? When you get to the point where you close above your Bollinger Band, either the top or the bottom, and your RSI is overbought or oversold, you look for a reversal opportunity. You can see we got really close to closing above here when RSI got high, and that led to a 2-week down move, right? And then we couldn't quite get there, right? Because volatility started to pick up. And when volatility gets up and the price starts to really move, these bands start to expand, right? And that expansion is something to look out for as well. The compression leading to expansion and a super expansion, a hyper expansion, could lead to some really crazy moves. And that's exactly what we saw on the weekly chart here. And really cool stuff is we closed below the lower Bollinger Band right here off of this chart. Okay, so now it wasn't a perfect move, right? You don't just get long when you see it, but you look for indications to get longer on that, right? So here we closed here too. We weren't quite oversold yet. We didn't get a peak, a good push below here to that 20 level, and we did here, right? So that is showing you we're getting stretched. That rubber band is really pulling, and a reversion move is possible, and that's exactly what we see happening right here. So we're getting really close to that mid Bollinger Band on the weekly. Let's put it on the daily. Okay. It's a cool tool. A lot of people have some nice custom builds with it, where they blank out their charts and they just trade within these ranges. And it's nice, right? So you can see here we had a couple different reversion moves on this. It's a little bit trickier, but here remember we had this Morningstar reversal. Nice move up, right, off of that, right? And getting long the next day was good. You don't have to wait for the Morningstar reversal to close. Nice hammer closed below the daily Bollinger Band, got its move up right here. Right, you can see exactly what happened now. Of course, we had a bullish divergence here on the way down. We had another Morningstar reversal down here, but we had a beautiful bullish divergence from here to here. Okay, you could even go back to that. Wow, you could even go back here. Look at that. Remarkable. Boom. Right? Bullish divergence right to that level right there. And so at this point, right, we closed below the Bollinger Band here, pushed on this bullish divergence here. We're right at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. Look at that. Quick rubber band snap up to the mid Bollinger Band. So pretty cool stuff. Now this stuff is not easy, right? SPX, these are huge ranges, right? 105 points. This range right here would turn to a doji. How hard is that to hold through that? 163 points on a pullback of 80 points, right? And here another move up 136 to get you back to that mid BB. Pretty cool stuff. So right now, where are we? We're in the upper channel, right? We're in the upper range of this Bollinger Band. That's a bullish place to be. So likely, very likely, right? If we're down 30 points on the S&P, what we've done is we've just kind of come down to the mid Bollinger Band, and we've come down to the cloud, and we're in a big congestion zone right here. So we may chop in this area, or we may try to find, the bulls may try to find support. And the key thing is to break over this high right here, so we can push this trend line back over and continue the uptrend up, right? And again, the same thing applies with these bands. I'm going to take this off here now. I like to keep it on the monthly chart. Weekly is an interesting one to track. It gets a little messy, and of course, anytime we could always go back and look at it. So one of the things, of course, we could look at here is we go to the SPY on the intraday time frame. Right, if we go even down to the 1 minute chart, and you put your bands on that, you can see how this is all fractal, right? Everything affects starting from the lower levels and up, right? The only way you can get a big move is to start from the smallest level and continue your way up, right? So it gets a little bit crazier intraday, but it does give you some interesting clues. If I put the RSI up here too, these are a great combo to have. Right, you put this up here as well, and we just we look, right? We see how it behaves, right? You see on the intraday time frame, we get real tight right here, right? You can see, anyway, we're getting tight anyway. Right, we got real tight right here. We break out of this geometric line to get a move up when these Bollinger Bands get tight too, and it gives you a nice move up here, and it gets you up to that 15 orb high, right? Same thing happened here on the way down, right? You get a nice geometric range right here, really, really tight. Bands start to expand on this breakdown, and you get that 15 orb breakdown for a beautiful move down, right? Pretty impressive stuff. So, and again, that's what we look for. And then when they flatten out, right, we look for that. We look for compression again, right? Another potential breakout move. So pretty cool stuff. It's a little bit tougher on the intraday time frames. You really get to learn how the bands work because you see them a lot. Same with price action as well. But it's a good tool to use. It's a helpful one, and it gives you a good concept. Now it doesn't, they're not static, right? They move just like moving averages, right? And those standard deviations get a little bit funky too. So you got to get used to it. But it can be a very, very good tool to use. I prefer to use them on the longer term time frames to get a macro perspective on the market, especially here on the monthly and definitely on the weekly chart. So good stuff. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. Hopefully everything came through fine here. Okay, good. Good. So at this point, Shirley sent in a few via email. So let's take a look at Shirley's list here today. She always has some fun ones on there. So let's take a look. She's got Charter on her watch list. So Charter's looking pretty good. We've looked at this before. It is holding its trend. Right, had a nice move after earnings. Right, couldn't break out, couldn't give like a gap and go type move. I'd keep an eye on here. This trend line is forming an ascending triangle here with this key pivot level right here. So let's see if we can close bullishly above there with some volume before we look for any more strength on this one. We may just be chopping around. Keep an eye on this this trend line too. CLX. Again, I think I had some good write-ups. Had nice bounce on earnings. It is right now. It is basically at this this geometric line right here. So look for it for some more strength. Look for a good candle in here. I'd like to see a breakout above Friday's highs. Love. This is a great one, guys. Airlines definitely on the radar going into tomorrow. Warren Buffett has completely pulled out his positions on the airlines. That's a big headline for these things, which have been struggling anyway. And now we've got the Oracle, right? He's out. So let me add these to the list actually. So let's put love on the bearish list. Okay. Okay, and it's. I mean, we're trending down. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, we're below the cloud, we're below all the main moving averages, right, and we're below our macro trend lines right here too. So definitely something to keep an eye on right here. We got a nice geometric line going right here too. So bearish, right? A break below these lows. If we gap below there, we may see a gap and go to the downside. So this is definitely needs to be on the radar tomorrow. IRM, Iron Mountain, tricky here. So we've got a we got to move down lower shadow right here. So a little bit tricky right here. It looks like it's kind of triangulating a little bit. So just look for a breakout one way or the other out of this thing. So coming up on earnings too. And let's see, MMC. Big triangle on this one, Marsh McLennan. So let's see, we got this right here. Inside day on Friday, so getting pretty tight in this range right now. If it breaks over that inside day and gets some volume out of this channel after its earnings here, right? Might make a push up to its 200-day moving average. So looking good there. Reed, what's going on? Yeah, great lottos on Friday. I know. Yeah, what do we say? What was it? Yeah, we jumped in on some of that unusual option activity on, was it DFS was one of the ideas from Thursday to Friday, so that was great. And then we had AAL, which I know a lot of folks are swung over the weekend, so that's a good one here to have be bearish on airlines over the weekend. Great stuff. And thanks for all your support and for tuning in. Shirley had one more or two since we're coming on at the usual time today. She thought these were for the Trend Spider discussion. So let's take a look at Merck. Yeah, Merck is breaking down pretty nicely right here, right? We took an inside day down. We closed below the 50 moving average right there. So not a lot of volume. That was one of the tricky things on Fridays. We had some bearish candles, but we didn't have the volume commitment. I like to see volume on a breakout, right? So we put in a little lower shadow right here. But yeah, I mean, if the market's weak tomorrow, I mean, keep an eye on Merck. It might, break down below yesterday's lows and, kind of work. It's got, some very interesting areas here that it could test below. It's good stuff. ZEK, what is going on? Thanks for tuning in. I hope you're having a great weekend. Oxy. Yeah, so Oxy's definitely been on the bearish radar too. It popped up on our radar as well. We're still contained within this crazy channel right here, but it doesn't mean it doesn't give us intraday moves. And we had a nice push down on Friday. I mean, just kind of go to the price action was pretty beautiful here on Friday. Okay, had a real nice. I love the double inside 15 that could not hold above the 15 orb, and then this guy right here was good night for Oxy. Boom, nice move to the downside, and then it continued to drift lower on that one. So nice trade trading opportunities on those. It's still holding its ADMA and its 21, so see where they gap it tomorrow, depending on the strength of the market. INO. Nice. So INO, yeah, I mean, clearly making a turn point pivot right here. Good volume on Friday. They tried to hold it a little bit at the bottom of the cloud. Look for a break below tomorrow's lows to try to test the cloud even farther and possibly back down to the 50-day. X, definitely keep an eye on this one. Huge volume on Friday, right after it's after earnings and all that fun stuff. So yeah, big volume coming on this one. I've got an alert up here on this. So I love how the Friday's high couldn't get over this pivot. If it does, if it closed bullishly over that, we might look to try to take that long. Watch out for X dividend coming up. Sometimes it does get a little pullback off of that. Disney. Definitely on the radar. Definitely needs Mandalorian to come back. Huge candle right here. Nice breakout, fake out back on Wednesday, right? But what do we know? We're running right into the cloud right here, right? A little bit of resistance, right? So we want to close above the cloud. Other than that, it just was a fake out move right there, and then they really trapped any bulls that try to get in on that. And it's right now back to the 50-21 bow tie and the ADMA too. So we're kind of stuck in the cloud right now and a little bit range bound again. So definitely on the radar there. Scotty, what's going on? Appreciate you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Michael, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Mark, what's happening? Hope you're having a good weekend. Zynga, whoa. Thank you for that one. That's going on the bearish radar for tomorrow for sure. Let's take a look. So Zynga. Bearish. That's the type of candle I like to see right there. Big, good volume. Close below the 21 there. Nice close near the lows. Right, let's see how it handles here at $7.12. Right, and then maybe the 50 there at $6.92. So nice one on Zynga. Yeah, definitely one to keep on the radar there. DKNG. This has popped up a lot. DraftKings. So we got, okay, yeah, it's trying. Inside day level, it's closed above the inside day. Good volumes coming in. Okay, maybe market going down, more people gambling on sports that nobody's playing right now. So, but I guess aren't they going to start playing some golf and stuff? But anyway, something to keep an eye on right there. So see how that goes. CRWD again. Really, the key level is the that 22, that high, that IPO high, post IPO high. So good stuff there. Uh, okay, yeah. So CrowdStrike, interesting, right? So this was a kind of an epic move that it had, right? So here's your trend line, right? Bring that up to your highs, bring it up here. So we're kind of seeing this going on. It's still below that upward trend line right there. You could look at this. The next level here is your geometric line. I see if it breaks down below. It's not an official trend line, but could be a key area, right? So pretty interesting right here. Here's your high, here's your low, high, low. It may be just kind of holding these levels right here, and it closed pretty strong on Friday. Some good relative strength. We could look at it. We could put it on the long radar for Monday. With its relative strength and see if it gets any follow through the upside. It's in a tough zone right here, but it is above that prior pivot level, so it may try to work its way back up to those highs. Good. Dennis, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Roku. Yeah, so Roku earnings this week. Okay, so very similar, right? Now this is its trend line, and it pulled back to it and gave you a lower shadow here on Friday. So it's kind of like, all right, let's see if we just need to see if we can defend it. Yeah, continue to defend it. I would love if it had turned green off of it, but now we just kind of see how it holds those levels. If the market closes down and may gap below, let's see if we can get back above it, and then maybe give us a little bit of an earnings run on that one. Evan, what's going on? IYT. Nice. The transportation sector. So good. Dow theory, right? So as go the transport, so goes the market, right? So here's your here's your DTL right here, right? So your UTL right here, we broke below it. Strong downward moving 50 moving average and pivoting, right? So this is could be a market lead on the market right here. Let's see if it breaks down below those lows. If it does, keep an eye on the Dow, and then of course Roku. Yep. So Roku, we just got to keep an eye to see how it holds this trend line right here, and of course we got earnings coming up this week. On Thursday. So is it Thursday after the close or before the close? Thursday after the close. So that'll be fun. That'll give us some action on Friday. That'll be fun. Good stuff. Rich, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your support. Yeah, so AMD, pretty cool stuff right here, right? So we're going to be looking at some cool channels this week that AMD is respecting really well, but it's obviously it's kind of holding up here and all that. So for now, it's at the bottom of this this trend line. It held a lot of stocks held their upward trend lines going into Friday, so it made it tricky. It made it very tricky going into the weekend, right? So bearish candle though. Let's see if it pushes down below the lows, and the next level down is that 48 level right at the cloud in the 50-day. Okay, so we're gonna be stocking that one. GM. Again, auto companies just struggling. This is a beautiful close on GM. I like this. We have earnings coming up too. I can't imagine they're going to be good. So let's see what they do into that. But I'm bearish on it, going into tomorrow. Okay, so let's keep an eye on that one too. Very, very nice. And Penn Gaming, usual suspect of the Corona era. So at this point here, just kind of check and see how it holds. It's breaking down below these, kind of these geometric lines right here. A key level to get below is this 13 level. So let's even get below 13, try to continue to work its way. That's got earnings coming up too. Can't imagine those are going to be good. But again, anything could happen, right? I mean, Apple had good earnings, pulled back. Tesla had good earnings, pulled back. So again, those type of binary events you just have to be really careful on. Hotels, again, same type of stuff. Anyone going to hotels these days? Not so many. So pulling back here, again, right at the trend line. See if that breaks below. That's a key line for Hilton. Good stuff. Thanks, Rich. Cool one. What's going on, my friend? Let's check out the gyms, right? So PLNT. Holding up. So this is an example of one that did push down to the clouds a little bit earlier than everything else. Pushed down the cloud and bounced off of it right here. And it's moving average bow tie. It got below its 80 MA, so let's see if we can close above that. We have earnings coming up on that too. I can't imagine their earnings would be. You have to imagine some people canceled memberships. But we'll see. But a lot of them, are kind of on a monthly plan, and if they break it, it ends up costing them more anyway. So some people just held through the whole Corona thing, just for when it all starts back up again. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. But right now, it is holding the cloud levels on that. Rocky, what's going on? Vive, this thing. I haven't messed with this thing in a while, but it's holding up quite well. Fresh highs the other day too. It did get above that level right here. Just continue to hold it. Bounced off the trend line and the ADMA. So it is holding up. I like this. You know, this is holding up well. CrowdStrike is holding up pretty well. So a couple of these names are looking pretty strong. So that's definitely one to keep an eye on there. I like it. UNH. Okay. So UNH, again, similar. Lower shadow. A rough day on Friday in terms of point-wise. Down 4 points. Here's your trend line there. Okay, so we came back, retested it, coming down off of it. It's trying to hold on the best it can. This would be a good breakdown level right here, potential to get back down to the 50 and the 200 below it. So we'll see how it holds. Good stuff. Scotty, snap. Snap with a snap attack. I mean, it was good, right? I mean, it was a good move off of earnings. That was nice. Broke through this level. Nice breakout candle right here, but just couldn't do it, right? I mean, it just couldn't do it. Right, and where did it get to? It got right to the scene of the breakdown right there off of that candle. So it came off of that upper shadow. Now we're kind of chopping around. It's still defending its earnings gap, which is good. Let's just see if we can get over Thursday's high and try to get to those next levels up. Snap's a little bit tricky, but it can trade when it sets up intraday, right, for day trade. So, you go back here. It will give you some setups, right? So nice inside here, right? Broke down below your 15 orb low for a nice push down on Friday, right? It does give good day trade setups, so definitely want to keep on. This is beautiful right here. Look at this. Nice little flag pullback. Right to your ADMA, double inside, right, worked its way up beautifully. This is the type of stuff we like in our group. So nice move on Snap. So yeah, so definitely want to keep an eye on the day trade side, swing trade side. Just got to wait for the setup on it. Brian Spot. We've traded this one before. It can be interesting. It gets a little bit funky with its options, but it broke down below a key pivot level right here, which it did a gap and go, and then came back in. So it did give you a nice move a couple days ago. Let's go back and just kind of review that. Right, so you can see here, key breakout day was here, right? Nice move up pre-market, nice momentum move through the pre-market levels, right? That's boom, first move up, nasty pullback, but it worked its way up nicely, right? For a good 6-point move off of that. In fact, actually an 8-point move off that. So great move there. Came back down, held, and couldn't break above it, right? So then it broke down below those levels, and that just kind of chopped around the other day. And you can see that choppiness here on the daily chart with that doji. So it's right at the ADMA. Really close. Did it fill that gap? High 143.74, low 14. No, didn't quite. Sorry, low 143. Yeah, so missed it by like 20 cents, 19 cents or so. So didn't quite fill that gap. So let's see how well it defends it. And then Goldman. Wow, Goldman. Yeah, we've been seeing some weakness in the financial sector. Right, these were trying to show some strength, right, as into the tech earnings, into Apple and Amazon, and then they just gave up on it right after that. So nope, we're out. So a lot of bearishness in this sector on Friday. We saw some some good breakdowns here Thursday, Friday, just chopping around right here, but nice reversal off of its 15 orb high, for a move down here on the intraday chart. So good stuff there. So let's see how it holds those moving averages. Stuck, kind of stuck in the cloud right there. Great charts. Evan, WFC, great. Appreciate that. Yeah. So again, WFC was a fantastic move on Friday. Great bearish move right here. Again, could come down and test that 2650 zone. Intraday was just beautiful on Friday. I love this. See this level right here? Beautiful level right here. Nice pullback. Could not handle even the 50% range of your orb, of your opening range bar, of your 15 orb. Upper shadow off of that. Retest this level here, and then nice flush through the low of the day, and that was just a fantastic momentum move when the market was weak. Great one here on WFC. So let's see what kind of follow through that gets going into tomorrow. I love it. Good. Okay, Tanya, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Walmart, let's take a look. So Walmart was the only stock that closed green on the Dow Jones Industrial Average on Friday. Does that make it strong? Not necessarily, right? So we had low volume on it. It just held up is basically the kind of the key thing right here. Let's kind of zoom back a little bit and see where it's at. Okay, see that pivot level right here? Prior major resistance, right? It stayed below it for couldn't get over it for whatever it tried. Finally got over here. Right after after earnings a while ago and through its Corona strength, because everybody's ordering getting Walmart, right? So it's right at this level right here, key level to defend. A breakdown below Friday's lows could see 50 moving average in the 200, so it needs to hold that, and we're starting to get some curling over here on these moving averages too. So definitely needs to show some strength, but it was the only green one in the Dow, so look for a push over Friday's high, right? If it wants to be strong, right? So for tomorrow. I mean, I'll add that to the list, keep it on the radar. Okay, great chart. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. YouTube day. Number of opportunities you see for a trade in a day is much higher than the trades you have logged. What factor determines you to pull the trigger on the trade? Yeah, I mean, so it all depends, right? There's a lot of factors that we look at. We look at intraday momentum, right? We need all stars. So I'm not just going to take a trade, especially with a group, you know, to just because it looks interesting, right? So there's a lot of factors that we look at that all have to align, for us to do it. But it keeps our percentages really high, which is great, and the base hips add up, incredibly. So that's really kind of the key thing. And I mean, 1 to 2 trades a day, right? Really 3 max. If you're day trading, and usually you can find really good stuff at the open too. Some of that stuff's really quick, and we'll take a quick trade like that we can't even post. So we talk a lot of stuff at the open, but we look for trades for the group that are going to last, right? That we're gonna be able to ride for as long as possible. 15 to an hour, right? Try to get it like 2 to 3 hours if we can. That's really the key thing. And all the stars have to align on it, right? So we just it's all about being patient, and trust me, it adds up. So good stuff. Rocky, what's going on? Yeah, Boeing. So Boeing is tight, right? Really tight right here. I mean, really, here's your flag, right? Pennant, right? Triangle potential, right? I mean, if it wanted to, I mean, could it get down all the way to like 0? I mean, maybe, but it's getting tight right here. Again, it would have to test like the 89 levels first, right? So let's see if it gives us any volume tomorrow. If it gives like a breakout candle below there. And see what kind of levels it tests, and then see if that sets up for us. Otherwise, if the market decides to get strong and it breaks out above this, right, we might work our way back up to the cloud. Of course, Wall Street loves this one, so this is what it is. So it's hard to keep this one down. Rich, is Jets a better play on the airline? So that's a pretty cool idea. Yeah, like so an ETF on that'd definitely be a fun one to look at. If let's just double check and see how the options look on it. Yeah, it's okay. For a cheap one, you're talking about 10-cent spreads on a on a $15 stock. So as some of the airlines trade a lot better, they give you penny spreads on it, which is a little bit better. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. It would definitely be a good one to be short in over the weekend for sure. Baba Archibald, what's going on? Hope you're doing well, and hope you had a great weekend. So Baba, look at that. So we were talking about the potential of it breaking out of this geo line, right? It did give a momentum move, right, on Wednesday, and just couldn't get above it, right? So it came back down, tested the 50, gap down, and then just struggled with the rest of the market. Does it help that there are talks about increasing tariffs and making China pay for for the coronavirus, things like that. So we'll see how that all plays out. This is obviously one that's going to be very sensitive to any China news, and so let's see. It's right at the 200-day moving average right here. If we gap below that. Right, you got a little bit of cloud, okay, and then below that, right, your next level down is at that 185 area. So that's definitely one to keep on the radar. So good stuff. Mark, yeah, my pleasure, Mark. Nahas, what's going on? GSX, let's take a look. GSX. All right, so yes, this one's been pretty interesting. It's popped up on the radar a few times. Let's get online on here. Okay, so we're getting kind of tight in here. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of triangulating. We're getting higher lows, but we're also getting lower highs. So just got to be careful right here. It's kind of chopping around the cloud. It's got earnings coming up too. Let's see what earnings gives us on that one. So it could be interesting. But if it got out of the cloud and got out of this triangle, it could make another push up. Alan, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. ANTM. Okay, so ANTM, pretty interesting stuff right here on Anthem, right? So we're seeing the very similar setup to UNH, right? Same sector type stuff. So we're getting kind of choppy in here. We're right at we're actually right at a fib fan line. We're also at the 200 and the 80 MA. The 80 MA is trying to give a gold cross through there, but we're just kind of struggling a little bit. So just lots of lower shadows moving up right here. So that gives you some buying pressure. We also have a lot of shadows coming down too. So it's a really tight range right now. It makes it a little bit difficult. Let's wait for a triangle breakout on that one. Baidu. Okay, yeah, so Baidu, again, this is a good one too, guys. Look at this. We're right in this. We've been tracking this channel for a while. Okay, and we're right at the bottom of this channel too. Archibald, this is one to look at as well. If we break down below this channel, right, with some volume, depending how far it goes, we got a nice gap below and could possibly retest those lows. I would just definitely be out before whatever kind of earnings they have going on this thing. You don't want them to delist like Luckin. So you got that going on too. Mark, does TOS have a tool similar to TrendSpider's Gap Snake? It does not. It does not. Now, it doesn't mean that there's not a custom tool out there. The cool thing about Thinkorswim is there's a lot of free forums out there with ThinkScript that's out there. Be careful of the ones that charge money. I mean, some of them are valid, but there's some great free forums out there, so you can look for stuff that shows open gaps. But it's a pretty cool tool on TrendSpiders. At the same time too. If you trade only a select group of names, we always label our charts, right? If you go to, if I just show you like NVIDIA's always got tons of stuff on here, right? If I show you our default chart on this, we provide these our go-to list. We provide these levels to our members all the time, right? So we know where our gaps are, right? Especially for day trading, these pop up for us. We know we've got closing gaps up here, open gaps here and here. So it's just something that we do. And honestly, it's a good exercise to do anyway. I always encourage everybody to do that too. It just helps to kind of get perspective and where everything is. But so TOS, I haven't seen one. There may be a custom one out there that can do something similar to it. But it is a really cool tool that TrendSpider has. Lisa, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. CSL. Okay, so CS Carlisle. Okay, yeah, so interesting little move right here. So we got a big trend line down. We're below the 50. We're below the 200, so it's bearish, right? Nasty gap down, candle, not a lot of volume on it, and we're holding, some prior support levels right here. I would say a breakdown below this guy here, below 112. We might start to try to see that 107 type area, things like that. Definitely looking pretty bearish right here. Let's see some volume to the downside if it's otherwise it's holding. Just kind of working on a channel right now. Good stuff, Cherry. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Zoom. Okay, so Zoom, again, crazy move. This is a coronavirus drama stock, right? So we've got these geometric lines right here that we're starting to test. So we're right at the cloud. It closed a little bit green on Friday. We're right at the 50 moving average. Let's see if we can get above these levels here and maybe work on those gaps to the upside. Otherwise, below the 50, we're seeing maybe 120 and below to test the bottom of the cloud. Costco. Okay, so Costco, I'm forever bullish on Costco, but you still got to wait for the right setup. It does get some crazy patterns here, and it likes to chop around, right? So double inside day up, it gave you, right now we kind of gave you an inside day down. We've got a really thin cloud right here. Sometimes you could blow through those really quickly. So watch that and how it holds this geo line. If it does break down below your 200 day, right, it might come back down to this 290-ish level. So just be careful with that. And of course, usually it wraps up earnings season for us too. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for your support. Brian, Netflix couldn't break the bull flag on Friday. Is it really going to come down? It's tough. It's tough to say here on Netflix. It is what's interesting about Netflix is when everything's been going down, it's been pushing its way up, right? So, we had the whole market going down in the morning-ish or choppy and nasty, and Netflix is just like, everything was red in the tech sector, and Netflix is like, see you guys. It got real tight pre-market. We talked about a lot of these pre-market triangles, things like that. So it gave you a nice triangle breakout through the pre-market levels for an epic run up on Friday, and then it just gave up on it, right? So, that's the tricky thing too, right? Big upper shadow and just a huge V reversal intraday. You kind of zoom back a little bit, you had a big cluster zone right here. So just, found some resistance there and was like, nope, see ya, I'll go down with the rest of the market. So, it's going to be tough, right? It's a hard one to stand up on its own. Failed to get out of the bull flag right here, but it also, the key thing here too is it failed to get out of its upward trend line, its UTL right here. And so to me, in a lot of ways, it looks like a retest of that trend line, and it kind of came back in the range. So, it's scary, but it might come back down and retest a couple of these prior resistance levels to test to see if it was support. It could even come back down, and test the scene of the breakout, which is scary as well. Tesla was similar, right? So Tesla, good earnings and all that stuff, but look what it did on the bump line. Right, so on Friday, right, it came back down, it came back in, retested, and then it pushed down really hard. And then Elon didn't do it any service, So let's see what kind of shenanigans he's got in store on this one too. So we'll keep an eye on that one. So Sherry, do you have any video teach about the VWAP indicator or the anchor VWAP? Yeah, we do. Let me get this pulled up for you real quick. Let's see. So yeah, we did a great one on the anchored VWAP with special guest Brian Shannon, who invented it, right? So let me get that discussion pulled up here on the anchored VWAP, and I'll put a link to it in the chat box there. So give me 1 second, guys. And let's go to special guests. And we've got anchored VWAP with Brian Shannon. So let's see. So that was a good one there. Let me put that in the chat box for you here. Okay, so that's a great one on the anchored VWAP. And of course, we have the newsletter that we discussed it as well. And then we have done. I don't. We should really do a whole series on the VWAP. Give me one second. I don't know if I've done a. Yeah. So we did a crossover strategy on it, and I did a series a long time ago on it. Here, give me one second, guys. Let me get that. Let me get these pulled up for you as well. So here's one on the crossover strategy on the VWAP. This is one if you guys follow on Twitter. Pinoy Day Trader, he loves this one. Pinoy Trader, he loves this one. Crossover techniques with the VWAP, that's a strong one. And different ways to trade. This is a long time. I'm like almost embarrassed about my old videos. But give me one second. I'll give you this one. I had like so much stuff on there, but give me one second. Let's get that there. One second. There. Let me get a this, and then one more second. Let me get this. There. And remember, you don't have to go through all the chart requests that we got on those. But let's get that there. Here. One second, guys. Thanks for your patience as I get this link pulled up here. Okay, there, and there. Okay, good. All right. There, and where'd you go? Here. Okay, and there's another one. This is an old one on the VWAP. We should probably do a fresh series on the VWAP. Maybe we'll do that next week, and we'll go through some VWAP techniques. We'll discuss the anchored VWAP again, and talk. One thing we don't really look at a lot on the VWAP is the standard deviations. That's kind of an interesting technique too. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that as well. So. ZEK, oh hi! You had I know and now oh hi. So let's see, oh hi. All right, let's take a look at oh hi right here. Yep, so Omega Health, so interesting as well. Okay, so yeah, it looks like it could be breaking down out of this triangle move. I love the double inside day down. It's always annoying when it comes right before earnings. So we got earnings on this one after hours, but see if it gets any follow through the downside before earnings. So, but just be careful on anything through earnings, of course. So good. Archibald, yeah, my pleasure. Great stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks also for showing up to the TrendSpider discussion tonight. That was a fun one as well. And again, if you're new here, definitely click subscribe on YouTube. Also, please hit the like button whether you're new here or not. And be sure to check out the links in the description too. It's got a link to our Twitter page and also our website too. So good stuff, guys. Well, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in, and thank you everyone for your support. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening, and get a good rest for a great trading day tomorrow, and stay healthy, and remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.